Yes, YouTube, we are live from lockdown. It's 8 o'clock, so you know where you are. You're on Danester's channel. Fourth edition in 5 days of live from lockdown. As you can see down the bottom, I'm thanking all my previous guests. Last night's was an absolute barn burner with Stu and Stu 2 UK, and obviously Rob, who has never been on YouTube before. So thank you, Rob, for making your debut on my channel for sure. I can see the comments are absolutely active because I know the two people who are on tonight have put the feelers out, and these are two big guys in the UK scene, much bigger than myself. Two of the biggest guys you've got going. I'll tell you now, the camera quality on both is not great, but the audio is fine, so we should be able to keep the chat flowing. So that is a massive bonus. So I've got to keep babbling a bit because the one person who's due to come on first, I can see he's still not on his camera. He's gone for a piss. So I've got to get my priority right anyway, because you can't have live from lockdown without me cracking open a beer first. And this one, I probably should have drank last night because it went better with my shorts that I had on last night. Some probably craft ale bittery thing. Who we got in the chat? We've got Jason Birch. We've got Boothy Alex 200. We've got Planet Retro. We've got Old School Variety Face. Addy Sneaker Freak. We've got Aaron, Blake. And this can's not open properly, so that's the first disaster of the night. So, until the first guest comes back, I'm going to introduce the second. Oh, he's just as I've said that, he's just come back. So, he's been keeping everyone waiting. He's a good friend of mine. He's probably the reason why I'm here. So, I'll introduce to you Mr. Retro Games Collector himself, Mr. Ant Harper. We had to wait for you to come back, Ant.
Hello.
Introduce yourself to everyone. Tell everyone who you are.
Yeah.
A prop.
What?
I thought you got a prop then or something.
A prop?
Yeah. What's he doing? He gave you a prop. Does he not know his own name?
You got mallet. I ain't got mallet.
I've got it as well. So come on, tell everyone who you are. Tell them about your channel. Tell them what you do. And guest on.
Yeah, most of you probably already know me, but yeah, long-time retro gamer. Been around for a long time. 50 years old. Started gaming in the mid-70s. Never stopped.
And what's your channel? What's your website and everything that you do?
RetroGamesCollector.com, which has not been updated for years, so don't bother going to that.
How about you run your website as well? You're selling website, don't you? But that's obviously not up at the moment either.
No, well, it's up, but you can browse it if you want to, but I ain't posting anything at the moment. Because I'm in proper lockdown.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah. Right, so that's Retro Games Collector. Now, the second person who's my guest tonight, he's huge in the scene. Are you cracking a beer open?
I am.
Fair play. The second person is Mr. Craig Turner himself, Mr. Revival. Say hello, Craig, to everyone.
Hello, Craig, to everyone.
Fucking hell. I'm the one who does the funnies on this channel.
No, we have none of that tonight, mate. None of that tonight.
Fair play. Just introduce yourself. Tell everyone in case anyone who doesn't know you, but everyone should know who you are.
Well, most people do, I think, yeah. But I'm, to anybody who doesn't, you know, I ain't a regular YouTube face. Me, I'm old school, man. I'll stick to Facebook. I ain't like these pair of attention seekers up here.
Facebook is classed as old school now. I thought you were going to say you put ads in the bargain pages or something.
No, I ain't quite there yet, but I ain't dealing with none of that Instagram bullshit. I don't mess about with none of that. I'll stick to Facebook only, man. I've got precious few hours in the day as it is without dicking around with Instagram models and shitty challenges and crap that goes on there. Thanks very much. So, yeah, everything I do stays on Facebook, man.
So, how have you both been coping anyway with lockdown? And you can go first.
I've been enjoying it. I've got to be honest. Makes no difference to me. I work from home anyway, so like, you know, nothing's changed for me. I'm just working from home and I've got the wife rearranging everything around me. That's the only downside.
Yeah, she can now see everything that you've actually got because she's spending time in the house.
Yeah, that is the problem. I can't get things through the post without it knowing now. I have to tell the postman to hide them outside.
And obviously, Craig, you was out of commission before this even happened, didn't you?
Yeah, man. You know what? I feel like a proper fucking hermit right now because you got to bear in mind, yeah, I went out of commission the first week of March. I went out and I was in fucking hospital while you lot was off on your jollies having a good time at my expense. I was in hospital, man.
Hey, it was a good event though, Craig. Without you, I will tell you that we had a good time.
Yeah, we did.
I get the impression everyone had a better time without me than they did with me. So yeah, I've already kind of had to absorb that one. But yeah,
you were sorely missed, mate.
I have been funny, but this one I actually paid to put that event on. I wanted everyone to have a good time at my expense, and I thought I'd at least get to sit and have a pint with people. Instead, I was having doctors poking and prodding and jabbing the shit out of me instead.
Well, it could have been worse. I don't know how, but it could have been.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
I'm trying to think how it could have been worse.
At least it went well.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. The best thing about it is I went in, right? And I've said this to a couple of people. When I went on the day I was actually released, which was the Sunday after everything closed at Revival, the officials came in at New Cross Hospital and told the nurses on our ward that the first coronavirus case had just been identified in their specialist corona units outside. So I'm fucking glad that I actually got kicked out that day. I mean, I haven't left the house since. I've pretty much been at home constantly. I haven't left home since the start of March. So I don't know what's going on outside. There could be zombies walking the streets or fucking people eating each other. There's a bit of cannibalism going on. I don't know.
100%. There's definitely zombies wandering around in Brierley Hill, but they've been there years.
I was going to say, it's never been any different.
They've been there years. They're what we call the locals, they are.
Yeah.
So have you both been doing any gaming while you're in lockdown? I'm hoping you're going to say yes, otherwise this is going to be a really short. What you've been playing? Don't just say loads. Tell me about it.
This.
What you've been playing?
This.
Oh, the Spectrum Next. Are we going to go on to that this early?
We'll put that away.
What else you been playing?
Talk about that later.
See, this is the worst thing. This is my fucking stream, and I'm the only one without a next. Someone get Jim Bagley to sort me one.
Oh, Dana, I've got a spare. I'll just chuck that one in the bin now.
Fucking hell, he's got a spare. So what you been playing other than the next? You're not allowed to say I've been playing the next, yeah?
Well, I shot a video today with the kids for the channel, and that was on Steel Battalion.
So were they playing with a massive controller?
They were playing with like all the original gear, yeah. The big controller, the pedals. And my daughter literally... How was that going?
we discussed this in the pre-room. Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit.
Stu, this is my apocalypse haircut.
What, was it done by a zombie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, get back to that video. Millie was just traumatized by the game. She hates it.
Battalion, the controller.
Yeah, she hates it. It's that complex and that ridiculous. She was just traumatized by it at the end. She said, "I hate it." She gave it 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. That's probably, isn't that the best game that you've gave them to play, and they've gave it the lowest score?
No, Ben loved it. He gave it 10. He absolutely loved it, and he actually got into it and got quite good at it in the end, as you'll see in the video. But Millie hated it.
I'll look forward to watching that. How about you, Craig? Have you played anything other than the next?
You know what? I've been playing loads, man. I've been doing my next stream, but I've been fanning around with a lot of stuff, man. Because like for anybody who don't really know me and that, yeah, I ain't like a lot of you guys who are watching this, man. I don't do the whole game collecting thing, and I know that I had a good thing to say when I got 2 traders up above me there living in the penthouse. But they. I don't buy games, man. I only fuck around with hardware, man. And when it comes to that, I've picked up some wicked stuff recently. And this is my new baby, man. A few of you saw this at Revival. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah. Sega.
It's a Sega one, SG-1000, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. It's the SG-1002. I actually bought that off Alan McCluskey up in Scotland.
Oh, Scottish Japanese Al.
Scottish Japanese Al, that's the guy, yeah. he eats haggis and drinks sake. Yeah, I bought it off Al a while before. I know today has come up with Gizzit there. That's my new baby. That's I've recently been messing around with that, and I'll tell you what, it was a pain in the arse to get running, but you know, thankfully Simon Locke did me a solid and did me a rush mod so you guys could play. You guys at Revival played it before I got a fucking chance to.
I was going to say, I headed straight for it. I thought it was brilliant.
I bet you fucking did. I bet loads of people did, but yeah, I got the.
Has that got the EverDrive cart in it then?
Yeah. Because it came with. I had a few games off in the one that was up at Revivals. This one, it's called Hustle Chew Me, which is a weird fucking name, but this was the one that was up on Revival. It's like you play like a rat, so you have to collect apples and shit. But I know Gareth off my team absolutely loves it. He wants to get one now. But I had the multi-cart on order and it was on its way for a while. So I've had that on order about 3 weeks. So that arrived the other day. I did a live stream myself on it the other day, but it's a really cool console, man. I know we've had the variations of this. We've had the SC3000. Simon Hardy's got that. We had that at Revival before, but I hadn't played on any of this one myself at any point. So I was really looking forward to that. Not only that, but as much as I ain't into my kind of new gaming and shit, I've had to get on my PS4 because the daddy of all remakes is dropping on my doormat in a few days' time.
Resident Evil 3, I'm guessing.
That's the fucking one. You know what? Resident Evil 2 was the shit, and the remake was superb. I mean, it is the way you do a remake in my mind. But back in the day, a lot of people slated it, but I always thought Resident Evil 3 was just... I thought it was way above 2, purely because of fucking Nemesis, man. That bastard chases you down from start to finish, and he's a stuff of nightmares. And I think the new one... I played the demo the other day, and even though he's really tame in the demo, I think they're saving what's coming, and they've really tweaked the controls for combat a lot on this one, so it feels a bit close to Resident Evil 4. So I'm really looking forward to that coming.
That was the problem with the original 3 Resident Evils, where it was the controls made the games harder to play. But I've heard
everyone always said about tank controls, and I've got to be honest, I've never really got that argument because there was a lot of games like that at the time. And if you got any kind of hand-eye coordination, it was never really a problem. The problem is that it was very slow. So like turning around in a hurry, aiming up and down was a pain in the arse. But they did what they could with the perspective, you know what I mean? So, but it did never stop me enjoying the games. And the perspectives actually added to some of the suspense, you know what I mean? But
I think the problem is he's going back and playing it now. You've got used to other controls, whereas when you were playing it first time round, you just adapted because that was the controls. Whereas when you've gone and played something like we probably have over the last 20 years, to now go back and do it, it all becomes like, this is completely wrong. It shouldn't be like this. It should be like how it's been done since, sort of thing.
You've got to relearn it, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's like the evolution. Like when Resident Evil 4 came out, Resident Evil 4, everyone was like a bit unsure of it at the time. But then when everyone kind of got to grips with it, they said, well, this is probably the best one, you know. And so this kind of bridges that gap nicely.
I think Resi 4 probably was the last good one. I mean, I've only dabbled in the one since. I mean, they tried to go down like the first-person shooter way with like the survivors and stuff like that, and just try and do different little break-offs. But the original 3, I played the hell out of back in the day on my PS1. Definitely, I always remember shitting myself when that dog breaks through the window.
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, I'm a lot younger than you. I was too young to be playing that game, probably.
I'm older than you, mate. So no, I was about the right age.
Yeah, you was old enough. I weren't. I try and keep myself the youngest on this stream. That's my aim.
Oh, is that your thing? Is it? You look young by proxy. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Well, count myself lucky. I turned 40 this year, and I ain't gonna have a fucking celebration at this rate.
I don't think anyone's having a celebration. Talking about like everything being locked down, I mean, you were lucky to get Revival when you did. Otherwise, that could have been
God, yeah.
wiped out.
You know what? I've joked about it, and like, don't be wrong. I know I've had my complaints and my arguments with about other events over the years, but I do genuinely feel for anybody who's involved in event land, man, because this situation, it's like, of all the industries that's going to be fucked by it. Let's face it, even if things return to normal with this whole lockdown and that afterwards, the thing they're going to hold back longest is going to be public gatherings. So conventions, sporting events and shit like that, they're going to nail that down for a long time. What were they talking about yesterday? They're on about 6-month extended period about how this might drag out. Well, looking at that, if Revival came at the start of March and we're doing the next one 7 months later in November, it looks like we're not going to be bookending a slow season. We're going to be the start and the fucking end of a non-existent season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all joking aside, it could really affect play who rely on these events for their income. It could really, really affect them because they're going to have nothing going on potentially till December.
Yeah, I know. That they stuck a bit. They went a bit too firm with the whole waiting too long to say that Manchester was going to be cancelled. That should have been cancelled donkeys ago. I mean, EGX and sorry, not EGX, E3 and the Game Development Conference, they were scheduled for June and they were cancelled way back at the start of February. You know, with players big as they are, they really should have cancelled a lot sooner. I think they were being a bit stubborn, but like you say, they are. It's like I've said before. It's one of the caveats because they are a business. You know, we do it as hobbyists. It's good really because I mean I've said it before. We really dodged a bullet this year. I already saw the way the tide was turning. I decided not to do a big revival this year. You think about it. If we'd have done it when we usually do it in May or June, with the amount of outlay I have to put out my own pocket, I'd have been bankrupted by it. You know what I mean? So really, I'm glad I had the foresight to not do a summer one this year. But yeah, as much as I have my arguments with them guys, it's like I do feel for them because it's going to be a fucking difficult situation, and not just for them, but for you guys. I mean, because I know you guys can trade online. I know there's some people who only trade online, but it's your bread and butter. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's part and parcel of the business. Eh? You know that, like, you know, if event goes tits up, that screws you, and obviously you've got to do what you got to do in the meantime. And if that means going online and selling, you know, then that's what you got to do.
I'm doing no. I'm not even trading online now at the moment. I've had to put my entire business in stasis because I can't get to the post office because I'm in proper sort of lockdown because of my wife, and can't get out of the house at all. Basically, can't risk it. So I'm not even getting to the post office. I can only send sort of big things via a courier.
I mean, I'm lucky because I literally only do the selling, really being a little bit of play money on the side. But my actual main business, I'm not doing any plastering because I've gone domestic, so I'm in people's houses. So that's just wiped out. My part-time job at the leisure centre was, but you know what? There's nothing I can do to control it. You've just got to fucking grin and bear it. And
yeah, you've got to roll with it. There's nothing you can do. It's no good moaning about it. You just got to put up with it. And...
Plus, I always say,
I hope that it don't go on that long that you totally get bust.
You know, although I'm self-employed, you've got to allow for periods of quietness. Anyway, I always allow to have a bad Christmas. Now, luckily, the last few Christmas I haven't. I've worked right up till Christmas, so I've always had that money that I've allowed for Christmas to now like float over. I mean, I think as long as your household's got any sort of income in, I mean, no one's. If you're clever, you're not wasting money now. Like, I'm not spending a load on games or anything at the moment. I won't be picking anything up. So it's literally, I'm just spending my money on fucking shopping and rent, which is what most people should be thinking about.
Yeah. It's going to be rough, man, because, like, at the end of the day, I mean, like our house, I mean, I'm looking, because everyone always asks me, like, how I get to do what I do. And, like, yeah, it come at a big cost. I had to have a fucking stroke to be in the situation I'm in. But, like, thankfully, like, my missus is, like, the main earner in my house now, and she has been for the best part of a decade, you know what I mean? So, with me doing my little hustles on the side like I've been doing for the last 10 years, it's all right, like, you know what I mean? And don't be wrong, you still got to kind of tighten the purse strings a bit, but it's like, yeah, everybody's in the same boat, and you got to look at the way you weigh things up, and it shows the people who do bother to like take care of the money and the people who don't, because you've got to like, you know, it's like you ain't spending money on petrol going out and about. You know, if you want to leave your car off the road for a bit, you can do. You know, you ain't spending money eating out and things like that. You can't spend a load online because you don't know if you can have it be delivered. You ain't got that money to spend. So it's about the simple shit now. You know what I mean? Sorting your house out. You know what I mean? The weather's starting to get good. Tidy your garden, decorate your fucking house. You know what I mean? Stay constructive, eh? You know what I mean?
Oh man, I've spent the last week in the garden. The garden's looking the best it's ever done, I think.
You know what? I'm about ripping mine up and just putting fucking AstroTurf there, man. It's only the dog shit that stops me from doing it.
I wish I got AstroTurf. My grass is the worst bit. It's had the first cut of the year though, so that's always the worst one with my garden. But I did deck most of it, but I can't really have a barbecue and have anyone round, otherwise I'll have the feds coming kicking it over.
You know what I mean?
No good having nice weather and then can't spend it with anyone. But
I'll tell you what, last night I was watching this stream, I was watching your stream, and I said on there in the chat, I said, I'm going for my nightly walk. I'd gone out in just my shorts and a hoodie, and I had my headphones on, I was just staring at my phone like a zombie. And I was just walking down the street, and like, there's a few people out having the exercise, and all I was doing was just saying, I mean, I live in a pretty nice area, and I was just going, hi, how you doing? People was looking at me like I was about to fuck their dog, you know what I mean? How paranoid people have become, man. People are just like, it's like I'm talking to you, you're not going to catch AIDS by me projecting my voice across the other side of the street. Do you know what I mean?
Well, when I was doing my live stream this morning, so I've been live streaming Football Championship Manager just for an hour and a half each day. My missus came up, she bought me a letter. The neighbour, bless her, she's like an old age pensioner, pushed an envelope through with some money saying, can you go do my shopping? So I went to Asda in Broyle Hill to do a shopping today for her and take it back round. But, you know, when you're like pushing the trolley around, and you have to break that 2 metre rule. I don't care what you say, you've got to get past that person. And this one old dear had that look of fear in her eyes as though it was going to fucking explode if I went past that. The fucking eyes were just bulging as if to say, oh my God. And then you've got other people who just don't give a shit. There's two extremes. There's them who don't give a fuck and them who are petrified of life.
Well, that's it, see, like this shit is why we were all fucking laughing and joking. I'm still laughing and joking about it now because the world ain't gone to shit, but some people have gone from like, nah, I don't believe it now, it's a big deal, to it just going fucking mental. You know what I mean? And it's just like that difference there. There's some people there now, them scared to open the front door in case they're going to get a nuclear blast. The thing is going to be like Terminator, man. They're going to open that door and they're going to get that whole Sarah Connor skeleton blast in the face thing going on. You know what I mean?
You know what? I think the world would have coped with like robots or zombies a lot better than we would with this cough and virus. I think we were all prepared for that.
Yeah.
Have you been out shopping then, Ant, or are you making the missus do it?
Nah, she can't. She can't leave the house at all. I can only I've got to try and do it and stay low risk and not touch anybody or touch anything much. Because she's Irish. I've got to be really careful.
See, I'm classed as Irish, but everyone looks at me and just thinks I'm not, so they just send me to fucking do everything anyway.
Mate,
that's the thing, mate. You can't tell.
Your hair and your beard are more dangerous than any coronavirus.
Oh, we going on about the beard? I saw your Facebook post earlier.
Beards, man. I got upset earlier when everyone was ganging up on me.
Mate, I can't lose this beard. Honest to God, I would look like a 5-year-old child.
To be fair, mate, you used to be a reverse, because when I first met you, you had all this going on up here. You had a big Dane fro. You had a big 1970s kind of fro going on. And now it's all just, you've slicked that back and it's all just sunk through your face. And it's coming out here now. And it looks balanced now. You should stick with that look.
I remember when Ant used to use his B blonde to retro bright everything and highlight his hair at the same time. And he had his
I don't like wasting it.
Cheers, Jason, by the way. Thanks for that comment, mate.
So we can't dodge it for all night. So obviously you two are well up with the Spectrum next. hopefully the lads who are doing all the programming are putting some work in as well while this is all happening, because they can't do fuck all else, can they?
Well, that's the truth, man. But you know what? I was speaking to, because obviously I have a lot to do with the Spectrum Next guys, and I was talking to Mike Ware the other day, and I was saying, I bet you're getting shitloads done, yeah. But he said, no, because the thing is, they work from home, but like, so they're used to being at home anyway, but now they got their kids at home, so they're getting less done because the kids are there from the moment they wake up in the morning to the moment they go to bed. They ain't got no quiet time to start going all Rain Man on the fucking coding maths and things like that. You know what I mean? They've got distractions, you know, so I really feel for them. But it is working for me because, like, I mean, I've seen loads of people now doing like demos in like basic and things like that, and the basic on the Next is shit up, man. It's going to be able to do games that, you know, like basic is like supposed to be dead slow. It's going to do some wicked games for the Next. And I'm working on my own game, obviously, as you know. So, like, I'm keeping busy with that now. This has given me a good excuse to stay in and start doing some fucking sprite and graphics work on my game.
So you were doing all that from your own Next at home then, yeah? Like back in the day?
Well, actually, I do it for my PC because the actual sprite work, you can do sprite tests and you can do editing on the Next, but for the sake of speed, see, the game I'm doing is being ported from a PC build that I did. So I'm just basically taking all the assets from the original game and I'm using Photoshop, and you have to change. There ain't many changes I've got to do in terms of the actual programming and all that. Jim Bagley and Mike Ware are taking care of all that. But in terms of the actual like production and things like that, it's like the graphics and everything I'm doing myself. So all I've got to do is convert the palettes to convert into a 512 color palette. That's all I've got to do. But it does take quite a long time because sometimes the palettes that you see on Photoshop don't look the same as when you actually put them into the game. So I have to go back and fine tune. I've got to redraw on the stages as well. What was that Mike put up? How can I get your physical copy of Baggers in Space? They're sold out. Mike, I wish I could, mate. You'll need to have a word with Jim that they've done so many games and they've pre-sold so many. They probably will do a few more like physical copies because they know that the second Kickstarter's due and everything. Just have a word with Jim or put something on the Spectrum Next site and just ask. And I'm pretty sure with everyone owning Nexts and that now, I reckon you'll start seeing Next hardware and software and shit at some of the events. So just keep your eye out, mate.
So Ant, is there any plan of you doing any programming? Are we going to see a Retro Games Collector game made? Or
yeah, I might finally finish one. I started about 20 back in the day.
What they written fucking slate and chalk?
Yeah, written some like for the ZX81, then I wrote some for the Spectrum. I never actually got to finish any of them. I'm a bit like that. I'll start on stuff and then I'll start on somewhere else and then start on somewhere else. Never actually finished the first thing.
I think that's a bloke thing, though. I think we all do that quite a bit, to be fair.
You know, I might resurrect some of those ideas for the Next, I think, and try and finish one, maybe.
So hopefully there is going to be a second Kickstarter, I'm hoping, because I want to get myself one. Or I might ask Jim Bagley to sort one out. But I'm guessing that's been put back because of...
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of a delay on that from what I've heard now.
But
yeah, you know what? We're on about just before the stream started. Have you seen the prices of the fucking Nexts?
Yes. Yeah, we was talking about this before, weren't we? Like everyone's selling their Next, hoping to get a second one, but it might not come off. How much did you say you guys had seen them going for?
Well, Simon Butler did his, and he offered to sign it, and in the end he got 780 quid for his. The most expensive I've seen though was over £2,000. I don't know if that money changed hands. But that's mental money, you know what I mean? That must have been somebody who missed the boat. They've got cash to burn, and they were fucking desperate, you know what I mean? There's been quite a few go on eBay, and since the latest batch went out, there's more now. But the prices on there, they're still 400 quid and upwards easily.
Well, everything's going through the roof, though, on eBay at the moment. Even like stuff like Wii stuff's going through the roof because people think they can get fit. We were talking about that last night. It's definitely a seller's market at the moment out there, for sure.
Oh, I'd say so. Yeah, I heard you guys talking last night about trying to offload some of your lesser selling stuff like your PS1 memory cards and that. You need to start doing
Yes.
deals to people, man.
To be honest, if this goes on longer than the 3 weeks, I'm gonna have to look at selling on eBay. It's something I've never done, but I've got a shed full of stock that's not going to be sold now. There's no events on, so
You
I
know,
might look
you know what I find most peculiar? A lot of you collecting guys, I've seen a lot of people, they'll champion places like CEX that completely fucking fleece you. And yet they'll say, oh, eBay is a pile of shit, right? I'm going to tell you now, everything in my house, right? Seriously, now, I ain't even joking. Everything you see behind you there, right? I found the kitchen supplier to do my fucking kitchen, my cooker, all the shit, my laptop that I'm using right now, all my gear, everything I buy for the majority of the time comes off eBay. I mean, I do buy stuff at events, but honestly, if you know what you're doing and you ain't a fucking sucker, eBay's still full of bargains. You just got to know where to look, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I never slag eBay off. I get tons of stuff from it, and I still get bargain retro stuff from there.
Oh, eBay's still a good tool. I think what people use CEX for is because like they give you value on games that we couldn't sell on events, like like Wii games. I could take Wii games all day to most events and not sell them, whereas CEX will give me good credit for it. I always say if you're spending cash in CEX, you're doing it fucking wrong.
Yeah,
because you should be able to buy something for £1 at the boot sale, get say 8 to 10 quid for it, and then buy you something that's 8 or 10 quid, but really you've only paid £1 for it. But the people who like spend cash there, I think you're probably doing wrong, and you probably could find it cheaper on eBay. And plus, you've got the pictures. The trouble with ordering from CEX, it is like fucking Russian roulette. What you're going to get turned up through the door.
I'll tell you what I've been taking advantage of.
You know, there's been some shit. There's been some shit situations. The biggest burn I ever had, when I first started my collecting arcade machines back a few years ago. You used to be able to get arcade games really good value, and you used to be able to find collectors' ones on eBay. And I bought a fucking Virtua Racing twin machine, for 110 quid, right? You wouldn't even be able to fucking think about an arcade for that kind of money now, right? And I got it, and I got burned because I sent the money. It was over a weird Christmas, and the guy kept giving loads of excuses. When it comes to arcades, it's the kind of thing you can stick in the post, you know what I mean? But I got burned because the guy basically did a run out, and I got messages from eBay saying they couldn't trace him and everything. But you know what? That's the worst burn I've ever had. And as much as it was a missed bargain, 100 quid in the bigger scale of what I've bought and sold in arcades over the years is fuck all. Did you see the bargain I got from Revival a couple of weeks ago?
I did, because I fucking loaded it on the wagon. we couldn't get the barrel on.
There to witness that. Dane has been bitching since then because he said, "I'm a trader, man. What the fuck am I doing moving stuff off for a piece?"
We were determined that we were going to get everything on, but we couldn't get that barrel on. It was like fucking Tetris, man, getting all the cabs in, turning them each way.
See, people just don't appreciate these skills that we got, man, in ramming this shit in. And when I ain't there, it doesn't quite go to the master plan. But now that Mortal Kombat 2 that I got there, that was a great fucking deal. That was an absolute fucking steal. I got that for. I paid 400 quid in the end. Now I can tell you now, it's got an original board in. It's just got a minor monitor fault. It's an original machine. I'm telling you now, a Midway Mortal Kombat 2 board is close to 300 quid now alone, and that's without the cabinet. The original Midway cabinets like that, they're going for 600-700 quid on their own, and that's faulty. So, I've got a fucking bargain there, and I will be touching that one up, and I'll probably be converting my other one into one of the other Mortal Kombat games. So, fucking bargain, man. But yeah, like eBay, it's got its moments. Yeah, there's some shit things goes on, but I swear by it, and I tell you now, and either of you guys, I mean, I know you already do, but Dana, seriously, man, get on it. All you got to do is just list things and factor in your fees, and it don't make any difference, It's like when I set ticket prices for an event, I always factor in what it costs me in like PayPal fees and the ticket site fees. You factor it all in, you don't notice any losses, man.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's been a bargain stuff from China during this coronavirus business. Stuff from China, the Chinese sellers, they ain't been able to sell anything. They've been bunging stuff up for what they normally sell as buy it now, as they've been bunging up as auctions, and they've been going for like 60 quid. Like sort of electronics items have been going for like £1. If you look
so
at,
you're bringing all the Corona over, is what you're saying, Am, but you're getting yourself a nice deal.
I spray everything with Dettol, mate. It's safe.
I couldn't get no Dettol today for the old deer next door. They ain't got none left in Asda. So
you've got a area in that porch that I spray everything in.
Fucking hell.
Vinegar and bleach, that makes does just the same job.
Fucking hell. What you been buying then, Ant?
Well, one of the best buys I had was a Pandora's Box 6 for the cab that I got off Craig. That's the Pandora's Box that you can add your own to, Craig, via the USB stick.
I know the one.
Yeah. So they got it up for auction. I got it for £6.
Fucking hell.
They go for 60 quid normally.
Well, did you get on eBay or did you get off AliExpress?
No, it was eBay.
Fucking AliExpress. AliExpress is brilliant if you want imported shit. That there you're really rolling the fucking dice as if anything's gonna come and arrive the way it should do in any kind of time frame. But I tell you what, there's some super cheap Chinese clone hardware and stuff you can get on AliExpress.
Oh, cool. I'll have a look.
Fuck yeah. Don't they send some really shit, dodgy knockoff stuff though? AliExpress, ain't they a bit like Wish?
Yeah, it's ropey as fuck. Don't be wrong, but the thing is, like, if you want to see, you know, like E3 is where you see all the real new legit fucking gaming tech and stuff. AliExpress is where you find the seriously dodgy, seriously fucking hooky new bootleg hardware. And but you know what? It worked. Like, if you want, like, you know, like the GDMU for the Dreamcast that you couldn't get for fucking love nor money. It first appeared up on AliExpress by the Chinese cloners. The Neo Geo AES flash cart. I didn't even know they'd done a proper AES version until I dug on there, fucking found one and ordered myself one. You know what? It's fucking bang up as well. Took like 5 weeks to arrive, but the price was like dirt cheap, man.
Oh man, I'm going to start digging in there now. I said that.
AliExpress is going to go wild now. They'll be sponsoring on Extreme.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, don't be fooled because there's some serious shit there. I know that you guys as traders, one of the biggest things you have to fucking deal with is there's a lot of really quality reproductions and shit coming out now, isn't there? And I know CX have been fucking guilty of selling them out there.
Well, it's not just in the gaming. And there's a guy who's normally in my chat. You've been gamed. He's been buying, you know, the NECA figures, like the really like high end action figures, like. Yeah. And there's some really good covers of them. Even like you have to go on special groups, and there'll be like the tiniest of faults, but the quality of the figure is still really high. It's just whether it's meant to be a £6 figure or a fucking 60 quid figure.
Yeah. There ain't anything now that's safe from the cloners, is there? Is
the AES clone of the Terra Onion?
No. I know what he's on about. What it is, the Terra Onion thing is the Neo SD. That's like the proper EverDrive for the AES, if you know what I mean. It uses an SD card slot and you can dump ROMs on it, yeah? The Neo SD multi-cart, sorry, the AES multi-cart that I've got, it's based on the arcade 115-1, the MVS multi-cart. And to be honest, that there was some suspicion about those carts being a little bit ropey, but thankfully, I read up on the documentation. I ordered one, and sure enough, it did have some slightly ropey electronics inside. And because people complained that it didn't reproduce the games accurately, like the sound would be off, one game would crash, another one would have like bad slowdown and stuff, and they would overheat quite badly. But I read up the documentation. I had it come in, and then Jason, who's watching this now, I took it to him. He added a few fucking resistors in the right places. The annoying thing is, on the board, there's actually got the solder pads for it. So, yeah, it's a multi-cart tutti, but It's the 115 one, so all the games you kind of give a shit about are on there. Don't be wrong, you ain't going to get the fucking rare ones, and okay, that you can only get that with the Neo SD. But the Neo SD is like fucking 600 quid. The AES flash cart is like 130 quid. You know what I mean? There's a bit of a fucking difference, and that's got all the games you kind of care about on it, you know, and they're ready to select from a menu. There's no bullshit load times or nothing like that. You've got the Metal Slugs on there. You've got the King of Fighters. You've got the Puzzle Bobbles. You've got things like Viewpoint and stuff on there. So, you know, fair enough.
Nice. I know Stu and Rob, they're quite into their AES and Neo Geo stuff, though. So I assume that a question would come from them too. Some of that I've not. It's too expensive for my taste at the moment. That's for sure. If I see one at the boot sale, like anything like that, I'll get it. You know what I'm like. And if anyone's going to find it,
I'll tell you what. If you find anything like that at a boot sale, you'll be lucky. And if you do, you rip their fucking arms off. Because if you're likely to find anything at a boot sale for an AES, there's a good chance it could be the English version of it. And I'll tell you what, there weren't many fucking UK. Well, there wasn't much any UK Neo Geo anything because it was so damn expensive back in the day. So if you can find it at a car boot, you rip the fucking arm off for it.
Hang on, someone's asked something else. Isn't the cheaper AES flash cart around $400?
Is it dollars or euros?
Oh, euros. Sorry, 400 euros.
There's two SD based Neo Geo carts. I can't remember who makes the other one, but yeah, they started at 600. They're starting to come down a bit now, but the AES flash cart that I had has now come down, and I'm pretty sure on AliExpress you can get it for under 100 quid delivered now. So what you're going to do, you're going to spend 400 quid on something that can play all 200 MVS games, or you're going to spend 100 quid on something that can play 150 of them. You know what I mean?
Dylan saying, is it worth taking a risk on the flash cart because it's from China?
Yes, definitely. Get it, but make sure you have a look. You open it up and have a look at the circuit board. If you do a search on Google, it'll tell you if it's got the necessary resistors and stuff in place to make it voltage safe and to make sure that it's basically reproducing the sound and everything accurately. If you have a word with Jason Birch, who's on this stream from Ard's Attic, he did mine. I literally took it to him and he sorted it out in a couple of minutes. So if you've got a problem with it or you're a bit wary, get it to Jason. He'll check it for electrical safety, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, to be honest, I met Jace at the last revival. He's a very, very lovely man and very knowledgeable. In fact, I spoke to him last night after my stream because he's going to be looking at my 128, my Commodore 128. It's got a few issues, and he said he's bored at the moment, so he wants something to do.
He shouldn't move bored. He's moving fucking house. He's got about 3 things in mind. He's got to go in the back of the truck somewhere. So,
from what I gather, him and Simon Locke are your 2 go-to people if you've got things going on with your machines.
Yeah, because Jason's history is in like CRT repair and stuff like that. So, like, he was taking a look at my Sharp SF1, but he struggled with it. Now, I've had a word with Simon Locke, Simon and him pass things between themselves. And I think that Jason sorted out the CRT side of it. So I might ask Jason now to pass that on to Simon. And Simon said he's going to take a look at the board and see if there's anything he can do with it. So could be in luck there.
I mean, that is the one great thing about Revival. Like, I mean, not to slate the other events, but you've got a little bit of everything at Revival. You've got traders like myself. You've got probably the widest range of machines I've ever seen at any event. Although some of the other events are trying to catch on to that now and put similar amounts of machines out. But obviously you've got people who can do repairs, people who you can, like the Vectrex guys where you can get the overlays and stuff. You don't see these at your standard events. I think that's why Revival stands out to all the rest of it.
Everything there, we should that's the best thing about
Remove
Revival.
your tongue from my arse down there. Now,
I've got to keep myself in good stead.
I know that you know that. All the people who matter know that, but at least I ain't have to say it myself.
Well, it sounds better if it's come from someone else, doesn't it?
It does look better, yeah, it does. No,
Send him the $5 later.
That's it. My
I mean,
views.
I mean, I'll talk to Ant here. I mean, the first time me and you ever went to an event together, we went to the social to the one at the barn, didn't we?
Yeah, brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that was my first ever feel of a revival.
Well, that's it. Yeah, see, like the ones we did this year. That I mean, they've always been about the social anyway. And you know what? We still had some gripes this year. Like we had a couple of people say, "Oh, it didn't have half the stuff the stadium had." Yeah, because it's not at a fucking stadium. It's at a working men's club.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, use your fucking brain. It was a free event. What do you want me to do? You want me to give you money as you walk through the fucking door? You know what I mean?
It was a
really good event.
Yeah,
and like
it was a scaled down revival, you know, but it was still a revival. And that's the thing. It still had the atmosphere, which is what revivals got that the others haven't got.
It's all about the vibe. And I'll tell you what, the people who kind of, they skimmed over it because they were going to other things in favour or waiting for the bigger ones, they fucking regretted it. My inbox, I was in hospital, yeah, and my fucking inbox on my phone, the doctors were getting pissed off because they were trying to take blood and fucking douse me with antibiotics and shit. And I was there taking fucking fat. I look like one of them crazy fucking Wall Street businessmen, just tend to piss off while I was taking care of business, man. It was mental.
Okay. While we're talking about events, we'll let Ant have a little chat here because you went to one of the very first gaming events a long, long time ago. Do you want to talk about that, Ant?
What, CG Expo back in 2002, I think it was, down in Croydon.
Fucking hell.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So if you want to tell us a bit about that event, who was there, what it was like, and
there was about 20 people there, mate.
That it?
It was tiny. Honestly, back in 2002, the retro scene was microscopic compared to what it is now, mate. There was a handful of us there. We all knew each other from offline, so, you know, online sort of thing. So that was it. There was about 20 of us there. There was only about sort of 100, 150 punters in at any one time.
Well, that's the thing, see, like events and that, like it's, you know, I know you guys the other night, you were on about like the real YouTubers, and you're on about the people who really make up the community. You guys doing your thing with your collecting, your kind of part-time trading and stuff like that. You're the real people who make up this scene, yeah, and you know the difference between like the proper events and the other events. You've seen how it's all evolved, you know what I mean? And like people now are getting a bit mental over the like wanting these big fuck off American style conventions and that. You got to remember, like we've come a long way since the days of, you know, what you were just talking about, Ant. But like at the end of the day, you've lost a bit of that in everything going big scale and in there being a fucking market every weekend. It can't always be about the money because the money will always be there. But if you want to keep the hobby going and you want to keep the interest going, you've got to look after the people who are like really into it and really into what they're doing. And that's why I think a lot of you guys and the people watching this now, I think that's why you appreciate what we do with Revival, because we're just keeping it real, you know what I mean? And we're trying to keep some of that kind of community meat shit back, you know what I mean? Trying to keep it there. I didn't say that.
I slipped. I meant to highlight the comment underneath. Did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't say that, but yeah. Did you see the AES they made in a wooden shell? Man, it was a work of art. You know what? I did.
Yeah, it's bloody expensive as well.
The shit that was.
Someone said, Griffo's Retro Gaming. Hi, Griffo. How's it going, mate? Made up of 50% merchandise sellers. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at Revival, he just had the one T-shirt seller, and at least he was selling gaming T-shirts. I mean, at some of the other events, like, you'll have someone selling fucking waffles as a store. I'm like, what the fuck's that got to do with video games? Can't you get campaigns?
Do either of you guys go to like the Comic Cons or any of the more specialist cons?
See, I don't. The only thing I do is I obviously do the gaming markets for replay events. I go to Players of Social to have a wander around, and I sell at the Toy Fair, which is Barry Potter's. I don't do a Comic-Con. I know a few other people have.
I was going to start doing them this year, but it's been put paid to now, isn't it?
But yeah, you know what? The thing is, don't be wrong. There's money to be made. You know what I mean? There's money to be made for definite. But they are weird places to be. One of my biggest gigs that I do outside of Revival is I do Yorkshire Cosplay Con. And you know what? It ain't my thing. You know what I mean? I ain't into the whole cosplay thing. I'm not really into the whole anime and, you know, the comic book stuff. But and it's like it's good to see people enjoying what they do. But there you get these stalls that do, like you say. I know it's something that Tootie's brought to 1,000,000 times in the past. Fucking fudge sellers. People selling swords and fucking fudge. He says he hates it. And you know what? It's like I mean, the thing is, there's a place for it, and even at like what we do, it's like someone wants to do something arty, it kind of mixes it up, and it's nice for the casuals we get. But you've then got to have, if you're doing a gaming event, you've got to have 90% fucking gaming traders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I always say with Revival, like, it's a good mix because, like, some people are coming not to spend a penny. You know what I mean? They're coming to play the machines, whereas some are then coming to. They know there'll be someone like myself, Nick, who doesn't do a lot of events, who might just have a random rare item that they've picked up recently, sort of thing. I mean, I think Nick personally is missing the boat by not doing a lot of the events. But he's,
you know what though, Dana? Thing is, you guys have been to his shop, man. That place is like a fucking. It's just one in, one out, man. It's constantly moving. That place is. So
I always joke
he doesn't really need to do the events, does he?
He's got a fucking NES in there that I sold him 5 years ago that he still hasn't shifted.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to remember, yeah, like Nick's a trade man. You very rarely see money change hands in Nick's shop. It's someone comes in with a fucking, you know, like I'll come in with a fucking bag like this, and I'll go, Nick, I've got like 10 consoles and a bunch of games and shit in here. What can you give me in return? And that's how he does business, man. And 9 times out of 10, he's got a really good fucking eye for seeing what's value without even needing to actually inspect it. And he knows his stuff. He knows his shit. He does know his shit.
As I say, I've known Nick as long as I've been doing the boot salesman, and he done me a stellar deal on that Vectrex. And what I will say, man, with everyone who I've met as a trader and everything, there's not many arseholes in the community, because I don't think you get very far if you are one. And if you are one, everyone knows who you are anyway, and you can't be fucking doing as good as everyone else, sort of thing.
Nah, that's it. See, and it's like, I mean, we had a thing. I don't know how much. When I first started like attending events and stuff, yeah, got to bear in mind I was going as a trader myself. The first couple of events I did, it seems strangely ironic now after what's transpired in years, but my first event that I actually went to was Replay 2010. I was invited to insert Coin 09 the year before, but I couldn't make it in the end. But in 2010, I did that. So I kind of got to see it from the other side. I was peddling my arcade machines at the time, and I did all right on sales and stuff, but you get a good chance to stand back and see what everyone else is doing. And there's some wankers there, you know, and there weren't that many traders back then, like who were doing it full time. But the price changing and the backdooring they were doing and the shifty little shills and stuff, and I can't fucking stand that. And I had to nip it in the bud a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm not going to name names on here, but there was an incident at Revival a couple of years ago, and we caught one person in particular fucking basically he turned up with this super shit hot rare, I think it was a SNES game it was, and he thought it was the bollocks, and he priced it through the fucking roof as it was. And then he turned up, and I think it was Jason, Jay Nichols. I think he turned up, and he had the same fucking game, and he had it set out for like half the fucking price that he did. So this bastard went over to Jason's store, bought the fucking game off Jace, and then he walked back with it, and he didn't put them both on sale. He put that one to the back of the fucking store. And then he bumped up the price of the one that he had on fucking sale. And that's just bullshit, man. You're all in the same boat. You depend on each other to watch each other's backs. why you got to be like that? You know what I mean? You ain't got to be like that, have you?
Yeah, well, I think me and Ant can chime in here. Like the first time me and you did Doncaster was a learning curve for that, weren't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we thought it was great. We was making a killing, but I think we sold a lot of things to the wrong people way too cheap. Probably looking back now.
Yeah.
So Ant, Retro Gear, that's your stall online, but you started Retro Gear a long time ago, closed it down, and then started back up. Want to share any of that story?
Started it back in 1999, believe it or not. I'd been selling online since about 1996, like right at the start of like the internet, really.
Way back when I was a kid.
Yeah, because I had an interest in web design, and I'd collected stuff, and I had a big surplus of stuff. So I thought, well, why not sell it online? And I did quite well, to be honest, considering like the audience was so much smaller then. But I suppose the audience was smaller, but there was only like 2 or 3 of us selling online, so we were going to get all the custom, so it made up for it. Sort of grew and grew and grew, and ended up having to sort of open it as a legit store back in 1999, and ran it for a few years. Then decided I wanted to do web design instead, and started my own web design business up, and did that for a few years with Retro Gear as a sort of side business, and then decided to sort of go full-time Retro Gear again a couple of years ago.
So what made you decide to go back from web designing to start up Retro Gear again? Did you think it was the right time for you or right time for the market?
Web design had just gone shit, mate, basically. all I was doing was patching people's websites to keep hackers out, and it was no fun in it. So
I can't imagine web design was ever much fun, but I might just be being naive there.
Yeah, if you're into design and you like the aesthetic bit of it, it's fun. You know, I was able to sort of combine coding with proper design and get stuff out there on the web that was good looking and people enjoyed. But after a while, it just turned into sort of patching sites to stop hackers, like I say, and it was no fun. So I got out of it.
I know how to party or what?
Exactly.
Right. What I am personally interested in, because I know you both and what you do now. And I'll start with Craig. What is your history in gaming? Like, what was your first system? What did you move on to where you got to where you, obviously, Craig, you were making arcade cabs. So where did it all start for you, and how did it expand to what it is now with the love of the hobby?
You know what, man? I'm going to age myself real bad here, because everyone always says I'm one of these people who's like older than my fucking years let on. But my first exposure, like came from, like, I'm the youngest of 4. So like my older brother is like 10 years older than me. So obviously all my exposure was going to come from him, you know what I mean? So like when I was born in 1980, so it was right at the fucking, I was born on the dawn of the fucking video game revolution. So like my brother was kind of growing up with it as he was entering his teen years. So the first thing I ever touched that was game related, it was in our house. You know what? I should have got it down from upstairs, but we had it was a grandstand like Pong console, and it's called the Kevin Keegan edition, and it's fucking weird. And don't even ask why, because I'm going to do a video on it soon. But like, I forgot for years what it was called. I couldn't even remember what it was. I couldn't remember what the name of the system was. And I dug around on the internet one night, and I fucking found it. And I found one on eBay in cracking condition, man. It's fucking awesome. It's a Pong console, yeah. So it's got like your bat and ball games and stuff. But then it comes with a fucking light gun, and the light gun looks like Han Solo's pistol, yeah. But what's awesome about it is it also comes with a fucking, like, a barrel extension, a sight, and a full, like, made of Bakelite. It looked like a wooden stock, and you could turn this fucking pistol into a full fucking rifle, man. It was badass. And nobody fucking believed me for years. And whenever I talked about it, no one knew what I was on about. And then I found it and I bought it. I put some pictures up last year of it. But I keep meaning to bring the CRT TV home so I can actually do a proper live video and show it, man. Because that was my first gaming experience. But as far as memories go, it's all about the Spectrum, man. My brother had the Spectrum 48 Plus when that first came out. He had a Dixon's pack. And I've still got that original 48K now. I've modded it for RCA connection rather than shitty RF. And I've cleaned all that up and I've replaced a few bits in it and that. And it works fucking perfect as it ever does. And then I just, unlike a lot of people I know, I actually had a fucking NES, which not many people did back in the day.
Boy, you was in the Midlands and you had the NES. You were posh, you were, Craig.
Well, you know what? The thing is, everyone says that, and I didn't know it at the time, but you got to bear in mind, yeah, I was more obsessive about games. Bear in mind, in the 80s, not everyone was that. Everyone was into games like their games, but I was fucking obsessed with my games, yeah. And I pestered my fucking mum and dad for years for my own console. I've been sticking my Spectrum that my brother left me to use. And then I begged and I begged and I begged for the NES. Off one little picture in a fucking Argos catalogue and playing Super Mario Brothers on an arcade machine on holiday. I saw a picture of Super Mario Brothers on the NES and I fucking begged for it for 3 years. And I finally got it in the years the NES was going out because I had the pack with the Turtles in when Turtles was massive. And that the following Christmas, I had Super Mario Brothers 3, which was one of the last games ever released for the system. So yeah, that was my history, and I carried on down the Nintendo path. I mean, the SNES, I maintain, is the best console ever made. It really is. It was like the only time Nintendo was like bided their time, and they were last to the market, and they came out with the best system of the generation, in my mind. But
all
like,
the Sega fanboys have just left the stream now.
You know what? See, that's the thing. I see a lot of people, and I know. Like, Sega was like the working class console word, you know what I mean? I know most people were going down that route, but I like the Nintendo and I kind of stuck out for it. But I had a Game Gear, I didn't have a Game Boy. I had my SNES, and then because of the stupid fucking endless waits for the Nintendo 64 and the fat Killer Instinct, my favourite game of all time, never got onto the fucking console like the arcade promised it would. I just said Nintendo 64 can fuck right off. And I jumped ship to the PlayStation, man. I saw the bear in mind, I was a teenager at that point, yeah. And I saw the fucking PlayStation was coming with fucking Ridge Racer and Tekken and Mortal Kombat 3 and Doom and everything. I was like, I'm getting that, man. I ain't waiting for now Nintendo 64.
Yeah, fucking when I remember the PlayStation coming out and that just blew my mind, and I've said it to Ant before. Even the demo disc on the PlayStation.
Yeah, the demo disc with the dinosaur. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. With the T-Rex and the Manta Ray. Just to be able to control them, it was unreal. So we've got up to PlayStation with Craig. Ant, because I know your history probably goes back even further. Where did it all start for you? Where did your passion grow? And how did you get to... We'll get to the PlayStation.
Games was holidays... playing in arcades. That's what got me into gaming.
Yeah.
And then I got I think it was a Grandstand 3600. You know that light rifle you've just been talking about, Craig?
Yeah.
We had one of them with the Grandstand. It was a stack called a stack light rifle or something, wasn't it? Was that the name of it?
There was a few different versions, and the one I had was called the Kevin Keegan because it was called the sports pack because it had tennis and squash and all that shit. What the fuck that's got to do with Kevin Keegan, I don't know. But on the front of the box is a picture of Kevin Keegan with his full-on fucking curly scouser mullet.
Yeah, well, we had one of them things, one of them Grandstand things with a light rifle. And then what did I have after that? My mates had, all my mates had Atari 2600s, and I always wanted one, but I never got one. Feel sorry for me.
Kids had them.
And I had to wait until the Master System till I got my next console. Believe it or not.
So did you?
But between then, I'd had a ZX81 and a Spectrum in between then. So
Yeah, we still count.
Yeah,
it.
console-wise.
We're not just talking consoles. Home computers count as well on this channel.
Yeah. Well, 1982, I had a ZX81. A year after they come out. 1983, I had a Spectrum.
That
Then
was
I had
the
a
year I
Master
was born. 1983 was the year I was born, and
I think Anton started
Master
banking at that
System,
point.
Mega Drive, and then I went from the Mega Drive, believe it or not, straight to Macintoshes.
oh, PC gaming.
Well, Macintosh gaming. Not
Well,
that there were many games out for the Mac, but you know.
what was that? Was that for your? Was that your work computer? Because I bet you were working then, weren't you? When you had the Mac.
Yeah, exactly. I was a graphic designer back then. We all used Macs. So.
But
Someone says he was born in.
I think the arcade is the common denominator with like everybody, because at the end of the day, you weren't really brought up on arcades. If you were from the Midlands, you weren't seeing arcades unless you went to fucking Blackpool for the day. You went down south on holiday or something like that. There weren't many inner city arcades, not in the Midlands anyway.
The only one
we used to have the fairground come to our estate.
That was it.
And
the only exposure you got.
Fuck yeah!
When the fairground had loads.
I bet you used to go to the fair that used to come up by fucking hell, in Blackheath then, Ant, on that off the island.
Yeah, that's my estate there. That's where I lived.
Well, that used to come to Woodside Park by me as well. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They used to build a little arcade. God, it was probably just a little bit bigger than the size of a porter cab.
Yeah. They rammed quite a few machines in there, and they had some cool.
Yeah. Oh, and you're lagging.
He is lagging.
Because in there as well, some really good. The internet's giving up.
Yeah, your internet's giving up the ghost, Ant. But yeah, I forgot all about that. You know, the fair coming to town, bringing the fucking the arcade.
And there was an arcade up Clint. Did you ever go up there?
No, the only ones I knew was Stourport.
Stourport, I was about to say Stourport.
Stourport was another one.
Place where there's proper arcades.
There was a small arcade at the cinema at Merry Hill as well. When it was that UCI that used to own that.
Yeah.
Before then,
when it first opened,
But there was nothing that, like, obviously when you went to the coast, when you had like arcade after arcade after arcade. I mean, the flashy lights used to just blow my mind as a kid.
Yeah, because that's the thing. See, and our arcades, like everyone talks about, like it was everywhere, but in the city, we had a couple local to us, but they were both so fucking. They were in the back rooms of like a kind of bootleg Quicksilver arcade. And like they were so fucking dodgy. They had proper.
Yeah, they were seedy as hell, weren't they?
You don't want to be in there, man.
Yeah, they're not as glamorized as they have been on everything else.
No, nothing. Have you ever seen the episodes of Grange Hill where Zammo's in his full-on drug phase and Rowley works at the arcade? It's like that kind of arcade, man. All shitty wood grain cabaret machines with bootleg fucking games in. That's the arcades we grew up on.
Yeah.
Someone said Blackpool had decent arcades back in the day. It
did. Blackpool was one of the biggest arcade gaming.
I was going to say it had some of the best, didn't it?
I mean, I remember going to the ones at Skegness because that's where I used to go as kids' holidays. Rill as well. I remember Rill having although Rill is a shithole.
It is. But it did have a lot of arcades, and back in the day, it was one of the. I think Rill is actually the nearest seaside town to the Midlands, so it made sense that if you wanted to go there for a day trip or something, that was where you went. Like,
yeah,
we used to go to Weymouth on our holidays, and they had a massive arcade on the pier there. I don't know whether anybody's been to that. Or
I have. I spent most of my summers on the south coast. And when I was a kid, we had.
Did you?
We had a caravan in Exmouth. It's now called. It's now Haven Devon Cliffs. It used to be the biggest independent caravan site in the country, and when it was like that, it was fucking awesome. We used to go to Exmouth, into Exeter, along to Weymouth, along to Portland Bill, along to Sidmouth, fucking all them along the south coast, man.
Yeah, it's had a brilliant arcade in that one on the pier. It was amazing.
Yeah, Nuki as well. Nuki used to have some great arcades down in Cornwall.
We used to go a bit further up past Rill to Landudno as well. That had a nice arcade on the pier just as you went on the pier. There was a nice arcade there. I think the problem with Rill, all the arcades on the front, because didn't it used to flood really bad there until they redesigned the front?
So did Blackpool, though. Whenever Blackpool had a fucking storm, I remember when they used to close the whole seafront. You know, before them sea defences and shit was built, it was fucking nightmare.
Yeah, someone else has said Landudno was ace. That's Jay. So basically, Jace is a Midlander as well. So obviously, not everyone knows we're all quite close to each other. So
you know what? Fucking star Mike from Further Ado Retro says Sandy Bay Arcade. That's what it used to just be called. Devon Cliffs used to just be called Sandy Bay, and that was my arcade when I was a kid.
What wasn't Devon Cliffs like Haven's go-to like premier fucking?
It is now. Yeah, it was always kind of co-owned by Haven, but it used to be independent, and we used to be dead cheap to have a caravan on there, and it was fucking awesome, man. There was stuff there that ain't there no more. There used to be on the one side of the site. There's a bit where you can walk down. It went to a place called Otter Cove. It used to have a fucking path that went down at like 45 degrees, and it was all like polished pebbles, right? With no fucking handrail, and it was like a big rock, like beach, if you know what I mean. You used to go crab fishing down there. That all got closed off when Haven took it over. But yeah, they got their own fucking beach and their own clifftop walks and everything there. It's a brilliant site still.
Is Ant kissing his Spectrum next there, the fucker?
He must be.
But don't you think that's a shame now that, like, obviously we all used to love going on holiday to go to the arcades, and they're not there now for the current generation. Not how, I mean, there is still arcades, but not how it used to be. I mean, I used to go to one down in St Ives, small little Havenside, where it had one of the best arcades I've ever been in. I mean,
I've been to that one as well.
it had, like, for such a small site, the arcade was fucking immense, and people used to come in from off-site just to go in the arcade. But that's all gone for the current generation. It's all fucking put 2p's in a 2p machine, which I know they've been around for years.
Penny shovers and bloody bandits now, that's it.
Penny shovers, bandits.
You know though, don't get me wrong, when I got a bit older, I did get into my fruit machines and that, yeah. And I remember one of my maddest memories, when we all became, like, kind of age, me and my mates started doing lads holidays, but we were all broke, so we couldn't afford to go to abroad. We couldn't do the whole Ibiza thing like everybody wanted to do, so we ended up going to Skeggy, and we used to go to Skegness Butlins, yeah.
Yes,
and, I remember in the arcade at Skegness Butlins, right, it was all 5 quid fruit machines, and then they had one section, and I remember it was 6 £10 jackpot fruit machines next to each other, and it was all the classics. It was fucking, I think there's Wicked Willie, EastEnders, Coronation Street, Andy Cap, and all them ones. And I remember me and my mates, we used to play until they fucking died, and we used to go in there daily, and it's all been played by Scrout holiday makers. And we went in the one day, the first day we went on the one holiday, and we fucking emptied all 6 of the machines. I've still got it on video camera somewhere. I was in the arcade. My mate was there collecting the money from the one machine, taking the quids out, feeding the next machine. My mate was working his way from the other end. They were just cleaning them out, and they fucking barred us from the arcades for the rest of the holiday.
Western Supermare, did that used to have good? That used to have some decent arcades.
It fucking did. I tell you what, the pier's still good for that.
I was going to say that's another Midlands destination, isn't it? That Western.
Definitely.
Yeah, couple of hours down the M5, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we played football down there last year, but I've not been to Western for ages. The last classic arcade I remember was in a place called Mablethorpe, up by Skegness, just past.
Oh, I know that, yeah.
And they had a penny arcade, like the proper old ones, like fucking with the ball bearings and everything, them sort of machines. They still had one of them into the late 90s, they did. So I remember going there. But it's just a shame that there's, other than, like, obviously when yourself puts an event on or Replay, I'm assuming that's why Replay do the events they do. I'm pretty sure here's an idea for you, Craig. So I know someone from Replays Now. If you were
Well,
to do a special one-off event at these coastal places, I think people would flock to it.
you know what? It's funny you should say that. I was just about to say, we was on about Western, yeah? Western is in desperate need of a kick up its arse. And when I last went down there on my birthday, I think it was year before last I went down. I didn't get to go last year. And they've got like a winter gardens on the front there, haven't they? It's like an event space or of some kind. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I bet the rental costs down there ain't that much. And I looked at it and I thought, wouldn't it be a really cool place to get everyone to go? Because the Southwest, the Southwest doesn't actually get a lot, does it, in terms of events? And I've said a few times, if I go down south, as much as I'd like to go near London, the costs are just fucking ridiculous, man. It just ain't practical. And there's already enough goes on around London. But I thought if we go down to Western, you've only got to come down the M6 and then continue down the M5. It's the same kind of route if you're coming from up north or across country, you know what I mean? So you head to the Midlands and then come down the M5. It's only about an hour and a quarter and it down to Western from the Midlands. So, you know what I mean? It's like,
I think if you pick the right date in the summer,
yeah,
the gamers would see that as like a pilgrimage.
You got all the beach, you got the fucking pier, and I tell you what, the pier has still got some cracking arcades on. They've got big fucking F1 simulators and stuff on there now.
Yeah, Big Mike's just said that in the comments. Something about the Western's got a really new pier arcade on the pier.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But when they rebuilt it after the last big fire, they really did do it out. You go into the end of the pier now, and it's about 4 stories high inside. They've got the simulators on the 1 floor. They've got a fucking go-kart track that goes over 2 floors. And then you've got like a big arena in the bottom that's got like a crazy funhouse thing, loads of redemption machines. And I remember because we went in there and they had a Simpsons. It was like a rolling 10p game thing. And they'd fucked up the calculation of how many tickets awarded. And we found this thing where you can basically win like 100 tickets every time you go into this space. And in the shop at the time, they had the Wii and the Xbox 360. And we calculated you would only have to spend, I think if you carried on doing what we were doing, they refilled the machine while we was there, you'd only have to spend 60 quid and you could have a brand new Xbox 360. If we'd have carried on doing it there, we could have done it, but we'd run out of money at the end of our holiday.
We've got Mr. Bad's Gaming saying that they've got nothing down in the southwest. It's all down right down on that side.
And you know what? I know there's a Bristol gaming market, but I ain't a market guy. A proper gaming event, I've looked at Western, guys, and if you really want it to happen, fucking message me, man. Give me some clues on places and hotels and logistics and stuff, because if you want us to do it, we could certainly do something. Maybe not as grand as what we do for the big revival in Midlands, but I'm always looking at new locations. As long as I ain't treading on anybody else's toes, I'll give it a whirl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Paul's ever been to BitPlay in Bideford. That new arcade that's just opened.
Oh, we went down a few weeks ago. Did you see our video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I went last summer during the week that it opened. It's absolutely brilliant.
They've got some good machines there, but unfortunately, the guy who owns it is a bit too money orientated. He's already on about fucking closing it.
Ah,
what? Because it's not turning he wants it to.
Yeah, because the location, it's in Bideford, right? Bideford's quite a small place, ain't really, Ant?
Yeah, it's tiny.
And it's nice because it's like by the river. But, well, I say the river, it's actually the estuary, and it's the estuary entrance to the river. And it's like a nice place and that, but where it is, it's like up off the main street, if you know what I mean. So they don't get a lot of passing trade. When we went,
it's
there was like a lot of local kids in there.
You've got to go right up the hill to the top.
It's a fucking walk as well, I'll tell you now.
Yeah.
But Craig, if you're saying that, like, you know, if you want people in the community to suggest places, I've always said I'll happily travel a couple of hours to do an event, and I think most trades are like that. But I think something on the coast at the right time of the year could become like, although Play Blackpool seems to be everyone's pilgrimage, it's more to do with it being at Blackpool than it being a play event, if that makes sense. We all make a pilgrimage for the town rather than for the actual event that's there. And
people go for the nostalgia. There's been some debate over with obviously Andy Palmer's opening the arcade club at Blackpool, innit? And I've got to be honest, once that becomes a fixed attraction, I don't know how keen people will be to go to fucking Norbreck, because let's face it, it's fucking Norbreck, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not the nicest of buildings, to be fair. Like, I've drunk better piss than the beer that's in there. But
thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
But as you say, I think, I mean, me and a few of the other tubers, we kind of make that our annual, like, you know, our day out for. We go to the event for a day, and then we have the night out on the town. And I think somewhere like Western, or as I've mentioned, Skegness, there's a lot of people in the chat who used to get to Skegness. That I think they'd make that pilgrimage for a weekend away at one of these like said sort of places. And I think either if yourself could put it on, obviously overplay that would be great for me.
Well, I mean, I've looked at a few. We got contacted the last 2 summers. We had several like seaside locations. We had, because you know, like Pontins is like on its arse now. We had them contacting us asking if we would do something there. Cheers, Scott. Appreciate that, mate. We had them contacting us asking if we'd do an event at their places, but it came with too many strings, if you know what I mean. And the problem is the basically they want you to fill the accommodation in exchange for you holding the event there, and you're left.
I've been to Pontins, and I'd rather fucking sleep in my car.
Yeah, most of them are the ones that are left anyway are absolute shitholes.
It's very retro. If you like Armitage Shank in your bathroom, it's fucking number one.
Have you ever seen fucking Holiday on the Buses? It's fucking like that, man. It's like that 10 times. It's still now, like, you know what I mean? It's fucking mental. But I know exactly what you're saying. And the thing is, it's like there's already way too much goes on up north, and I know a lot of the events centred around the north. I mean, Arcade Club is all up north. And it's like, okay, those kind of things don't necessarily work as well anywhere else. But the thing is, you still got to kind of represent for people. And all you got to think about, it's not about distance anymore. You know, the England's a small place, yeah. And as far as getting places goes, as long as you're on a major route, it ain't that hard to get anybody anywhere. And like I say, Western, it's definitely a location that is familiar to us Midlanders. And it's definitely somewhere that anybody can get to. If you're coming from London, you go M4, you go across country. You're coming from up north, you come down the M6 and down the M5. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult to do. Okay, yeah, you're again stretching it for the Scots and for the people over on the East Coast a bit, admittedly. But then again, they've already got Nerd going on up on that side, you know what I mean, that they can get to. And that's an event I don't go to, because in terms of routes, in a straight line, it's not that far. But in terms of roads, it's a fucking nightmare, because you've either got to go up the A roads on a diagonal route and risk it in the traffic, or you've got to go all the way up the M6, across the M62 to the other side of the fucking country, and then straight up again. And it's about 5.5 hours from here, man, and that's just ridiculous.
It does seem to be, like, with the gaming events, I don't know if Ant will agree, that there's, like, hot spots, like there's London.
Yeah.
And then there's like Yorkshire, Leeds way and all that. Everything's around them. And then there's obviously yourself, who's the standout one who concentrates on the Midlands. But between there, like, no offence to the Cockneys in there, but everyone believes anything only happens in fucking London. Now,
yeah, it's true.
I wouldn't go to fucking London for an event. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't. I drove around the place. As a trader, I wouldn't want to be fucking driving around London, worry I'm going to get congestion charges, shit like that.
Yeah, it's
just too much of a ball ache. I mean, the one thing I will say about the northern events is that they are good locations, most of them.
Yeah,
like the one at the Doncaster Dome's ideal, just because of its location. Bristol's another good one, but
because from here it's easy to get to.
But what the mistake that Bristol's making?
Diesel ban, aren't they? So you ain't gonna be able to get your vans in there.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Anne, but when we used to just do one Doncaster a year, it was a lot better than when we were doing 2.
Yeah.
Purely because I think everyone used to make that pilgrimage for the one Doncaster here. What do you reckon on that? Do you reckon like they're putting too many at the same event in a year?
Yeah, they're becoming too diluted now, aren't they? So you need to have one event, you know, spread out evenly all over the country. If you keep having the same events in the same areas, it's gonna dilute them, innit? You're gonna get less punters. You're gonna get less people interested in going and exhibiting there. So
the Northwest, where would that be? Apart from
the Northwest would be Blackpool, Manchester.
Fucking hell, Dylan, what you on about? Don't get much, you get fucking loads. You got fucking Blackpool. You've got Arcade Club Blackpool. When is that due to be opening, Craig? Arcade Blackpool. Do you have any idea?
It was actually supposed to be opening around about now, the end of March. I was speaking to Andy just before Revival as it happened, because this is the first year I've not asked for any help on the event. He said the help's always going to be offered, but he says, like, you know, with what's going on, he'd struggle. And I said, well, I don't need you this year, mate, as it happens. It was supposed to be end of March, early April, and then this fucking shit dropped, you know what I mean? I'm hoping that it doesn't kind of put the kibosh on any of them kind of plans, because it'd be sad to see that not happen. I mean, Andy's been overstretching him. I said this, like, I love the guy and, like, he knows what he's doing, but you've got to be careful not to kind of oversaturate yourself. The guy he's spent probably more money than he's probably getting in returns at the moment, because he's trying to run, well, basically 3 places now, you know what I mean? And I think that this...
I don't think he was right opening a Leeds one by Bury, because to me, they're too close together. I know it's easy for him to manage. Yeah.
Well, I spoke to him about this one, and a couple of people have approached me over the years as it happens, and have said to me, you've got a big arcade collection, you know a lot of collectors, why don't you do something in the Midlands permanent? We haven't got anything going on. And I said, the thing is, I'm not a businessman, but I'm also very aware of what business is and what it takes to run something. And I don't think it'd actually work in Birmingham. I'll be totally honest. And a few people said, why don't you do Arcade Club Birmingham? I said, you know, get Andy on board. And I've spoken to Andy, and neither of us think it'd be a viable thing, unfortunately. I get why you did Leeds, because when it came to actually servicing and keep everything running, because the North, see, that's the thing with the North, the Northeast and the Northwest are joined by the M60 and the M62. So you can go from one side to the other with no restrictions. If he needs to send repair guys to Leeds or vice versa, he's got a quick road taken between them. If he set one up in, say, Birmingham, you've got to go through all the traffic. It's only an hour and a half in theory, but it's like you've got to go through all the traffic hotspots. So it's similar if you did it in London. You've got to then find the talent in London to be able to service, keep them running, and for him to be able to travel between them to make sure he's keeping an eye on them. The reason he did Leeds is because he said it was the most, even though it seems too close together for most people travelling, as far as his business organisation goes, it makes sense. And that's why Blackpool was the next logical step, because that way he's got the whole of the North covered.
Mm. Well, does anybody know how that one in Birmingham's doing now? That one in the custard factory?
Have you been to it yet?
No, I ain't been to it.
No.
I ain't been to it.
I've heard it's expensive, really expensive.
Yeah, there's a couple of kind of gaming bars opening locally.
Them franchises, though, ain't they? Like there's Kong, isn't there? Is the Kongs and something else?
That's right. There's one who asked us to do an event there. It's called the One Up Bar or something. But it's like a converted pool hall, if you know what I mean. But they still do the pool there, so it wouldn't really work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kongs is new, obviously, because we said we wanted to start doing our arcade tour, didn't we? And the Play Bideford was the Arcade Club Leeds was technically the first, but then Play Bideford was next. We were set to go to Kongs, and we were also set to go to Retro Dome up in Barnsley. I'm going to give them a shout out. In terms of actual dedicated arcade places, Retro Dome, in my mind, is second only to Arcade Club. I know it's a bit of a mission, and I know I'm probably pitching it a bit because some of my arcades are up there. That's where my arcades live now, outside of event time. But it's worth saying that Retro Dome is it's a good fucking size. They've got about 60 arcade machines there now, which is probably a decent amount. And it's none of these It's none of them are like main cabs. They're all proper arcade machines. You know, good name ones, classic ones, some modern ones. They've got the Outrun Deluxe. They've got the Afterburner Deluxe. They've got, you know, they've got some of the modern racers. They've got some load of the retro games, but they've got everything their arcade club's got. They've got the VR and all the old consoles and everything as well. So if you're looking at a place to go besides arcade club, check out Retro down in Barnsley because it looks fucking awesome. That was due to be our next stop.
I'll have to have a look at that.
Yeah, we ought to arrange a pilgrimage up there. Right, moving on from, well, maybe not from arcades, but I'll start with Ant. What is your most prized possession in that collection there? Because you are massively an 8-bit micro man, which is somewhat we don't have a lot of on the internet that I know to, certainly in the circles that I move, and also that I don't have a massive knowledge about other than the systems I had. So what's your prized possession from your collection, and what would you like to add, like your dream item?
Oh, I can grab the prized possessions.
Well, do yourself a mischief then, Ant.
I'm sorry.
I don't want Erica on to me if you've hurt yourself and you called to that garden. Auntie, you're coming back. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Just grabbing them. There you go. They look boring. Not boring to me.
I thought you was going to
That's
get
my
this
original
really
Spectrum.
interesting.
My original Spectrum from back in the day. And my original ZX81 from back in the day.
Oh, his possession is that.
Both of them still working perfectly.
Nice.
So yeah, those are my prized possessions. I've got loads of rare stuff and unusual stuff, but to be honest, nothing will ever trump that as my, you know, as the thing I most love. That's what got me to computing.
Have you got anything that you haven't got that you would like to have? Because I look behind you and I just see masses and masses of systems.
Yeah. No, I think I've got pretty much everything I want now.
Is that PSX there?
It certainly fucking is.
I would like one of them.
House at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say if I'd have had a couple of £100 spare, mate, I'd have had that one off you a few months ago.
It's gone to a good home anyway. It's gone to RCM and Spencer had it in the end.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice. So there's nothing that you would love to have, anything at all, Ant. If money was no object, you could add something to your collection.
I've got to be honest, I've got everything I need now. I don't crave anything anymore. I've sort of hit that level now where I'm happy with what I got. Yeah.
What about you, Craig? Because obviously yours is going to be a system of some sort. What is your most prized system? And what system would you like to have, or arcade machine that you haven't got?
The most prized system I've got. I mean, it's difficult to say because I'm starting to get the rare ones now. I mean, I love my SNES. My Sharp SF1, I really want that repaired because that's like the SNES TV. I would love to get that sorted. But arcade-wise, I've actually got a couple on my hit list I'd like to get. The biggest one is Tempest. Because Tempest is like, I mean, getting the vector games is hard to get and they're hard to maintain as well. But Tempest, I absolutely love the game. And I've been toying for a couple of years with the idea of building a Tempest 2000 arcade machine for the Jaguar version, but fitting it up, making it look like the original Tempest, but fitting it out with like UV paint and some big ass fucking speakers and having like UV reactive like lights going on to the fucking music.
Nice. Question for Craig, because you've got a ton of arcades, they're out on rent everywhere. Does it not ever tempt you to set up your own like arcade somewhere? Because I know a guy in Hal Zone tried to do it, but I'm sure he hadn't got the machines that you've got.
Yeah, that was our mate Tom. Yeah, he tried it. Now, don't be wrong. I've had the idea to do it. A few people have mentioned it. I can't really say too much right now, but I do know of one guy in the Midlands who is supposedly shaping up to do it, and he's already got a pretty fucking awesome collection, and he's been quietly building a collection by importing some really rare shit from America that he's got set up in a lockup somewhere, and he's been looking to open an arcade. And I spoke to him about 6 months ago, and I said that if he needs hand setting that one up, that I might be able to loan him machines and source him more machines, and I might end up working there. So I really can't say any more on that one at the moment. But
Yeah, no, that's cool.
He's had an idea to do it, and you can bet that if that one goes ahead, I'll probably have something to do with it. Yeah,
that'd be cool, because I mean, that Tom's, I did pop in a couple of times, but it was more of a bar than it was an arcade sort of thing for me. There weren't quite enough tabs. I mean, and also I don't really think it was in the right place. I mean, Halzone is a nice place, but it was like right in the shopping centre. I think with an arcade place, it needs to be somewhere like one of them warehouses, like I mean, you've both been to Arcade Club Berry. For me, I love the feel of Arcade Club Berry. Dingy old warehouse, nice dark atmosphere, the lighting superb and the feel superb.
It's all about atmosphere. Some people think it's like when you set up a shop, it's all about everything's all about location. When you buy a house, it's all well and good having a nice house. If it's in the middle of a fucking demilitarized zone, you can't step outside your front door. When you've got a shop, you need it on a busy high street, you know, if you want to make the best trade. With an arcade, though, you need a location that sets a scene, you know. It needs to be cheap. It needs to be kind of gritty, but obviously not at risk of having everything stolen from there every weekend. And if you do that, you get the right feel for it, you know what I mean? And let's face it, there's a lot of old industry in the Midlands. There's a lot of places where that would work really well. You're thinking local to me. If you go Willenhall and Darlaston way, in fact, the surrounding areas around where we did the last revival, you go around there, there's a lot of old industry. And if you were to set up a place and secure it properly, somewhere like that would probably be ideal. As long as it's on a bus route, so locals and that could still use it anyway, and near to some of the pubs maybe. I think it'd work. But yeah, if you get people to travel, obviously, if you've got the right atmosphere, people will travel to go to it. So like I've always said, it's the same with the events, you know, you got to pick the right place for it. And people, before we started doing Revival, people were like, the Midlands, where the fuck's that? You know what I mean? I'm from Wolverhampton, where the fuck's that? Is that Birmingham? You know, questions like that, you know, you put places on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main key is a hotel. If you've got a hotel within a taxi ride to your event, because when we go to Bury, we stay at the, I think it's the Premier Inn, and it costs us £3 in a taxi each to get there. So as long as, like, it doesn't even really need to be on a bus route or a train route, as long as there's a hotel that people can pilgrimage to. Because, like, you know, there's not just us in the YouTube community who go and have it. Like, there's obviously groups of mates who want somewhere to stay for a weekend, to go and have a weekend away, like play arcades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think something like that would be a hit. So this question's for Ant anyway, because you had a YouTube break after getting me in to do it. You've said you've been filming videos for your kids. What's your future for your channel, Ant? Are you going to stick to it this time or what?
Yeah, I've already. How many videos have I churned out in the last month?
You've got to have 4 or 5, maybe 6. Maybe 6.
Yeah, 6 or 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you enjoying it again?
I'm literally about to put another one on. I've just shot another one as well, so I've got another 2 to put on now. I've got about 4 or 5 being planned. So yeah, it's just.
See, you're the one who got me. You got me to do YouTube purely on my boot sale finds and stuff I used to find. You say people's interested. What was your drive for YouTube, and what does YouTube mean for you? What did you get involved with YouTube for?
No other reason than I thought it'd be fun, and it is. So I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. I don't do it for recognition or for followers or anything. I just
money.
Eventually, nah. I'll just do it for fun. If I didn't find it fun, I'd stop doing it. It's simple as that, really.
That's good, because I mean, and I'll throw this out to everyone who's in the comments who I know. I class everyone who I've met on YouTube as a good friend, because they're all genuine people, like-minded people who are just in it for the crack of the hobby. And I don't think there's anyone here who's in the comments who I've known and met who hasn't been to Revival. So, Craig, that says a lot for your event.
Yeah.
It's for me.
We do what we can, mate. At the end of the day, we're just trying to do something that people enjoy. It's not for the fucking money. It's like
It's a
YouTube,
proper
and that's
gamers
like,
event.
Well, yeah. I mean, like it's like I started doing my separate page on like Facebook, where I started. It's streaming, okay. It's not the streaming that everybody fucking thinks of with Twitch and all that bullshit. But at the end of the day, I just like to pick up my camera when I've got spare 5 fucking minutes and film something, you know, a pickup that I've got or a system that people might not have seen. I do it because I just like to say, look at this cool shit. You know what I mean?
So, Craig, someone as an event organizer, you probably have to deal with all sorts of YouTubers. I'm guessing like people at my level don't cause you too much hassle. But what's your general thought on people who do YouTube in the hobby? I mean, I'm imagining none of our lot give you any hassle.
Now you've got me cornered because you all know I've got strong opinions on this kind of stuff.
We like strong opinions. You don't have to mention names. We don't need names. You know, I'd like to think anyone who I'm associated with is not too much hassle to you. And a lot of them, we do sing the praises of Revival. And we always speak honestly of what we find. I always have done and always will.
Well, truth be told, like no one specifically goes out the way to cause problems for us, and nobody from like kind of YouTube land is like on our radar, if you know what I mean, as far as troublemakers or got to watch what they're doing kind of thing. I mean, we've had our fair share of problems in the past because a lot of it. I mean, it sounds a bit cliche. There's a lot of haters out there, and there's some people out there who just they see someone doing something well. They try and look at where your angle is, and if they think, oh well, where are they making money on this? And if you're not making money, but you're still getting recognition and you're enjoying it, they're like, well, why are you doing it, kind of thing. And then when you've got nothing but an answer to say, well, it's what I enjoy, they want to fucking kick you down because they then try to find their angle and they try to get something out of it. Now, something I commented on a while back was about like, I've said it earlier about real YouTubers. I see you guys as real YouTubers because when I first started using YouTube many years ago, I didn't know that people were becoming internet personalities. I didn't know. I remember very early on, I committed a bit of a faux pas because I'd never heard of that PewDiePie wanker, right? Now everybody knows he's the most successful fucking internet media star of ever, like, but he was just a tosser. I remember I was browsing videos and I was looking at a video of Typing of the Dead on the Dreamcast, and I wanted to see what it was like. And I found this video, and I thought it was the only video I could find on it at the time, and I pulled it up, and it was just this fucking screaming, neck-bearded fucking man-child screaming over the fucking internet, right? And he was just saying, and I was just like, shut the fuck up and let me see the game. And I was like, is this what fucking kids watch now? And I had all these little squeakers start fucking rampage against me saying, well, what's your channel about? Bet you ain't got loads of hits. And I'm like, what are you on about? I don't even use YouTube for nothing like that. I'm here to find informative shit. And I'm like, that's not what internet is. That's what not YouTube is. And I'm like, well, since fucking when? Because when I first started using it, it was guys like us doing stuff like this, just going in front of a camera and showing some random shit that they've got, all giving shout outs to the friends. And see, it's that kind of thing that I think YouTube's fucking desperately lost. And the problem is, there's a lot of people now. I mean, I've said this a few times. There's too many people getting into this hobby, not just YouTube in general. They're getting into the hobby now as fucking casuals, and their first port of call is they're looking for an angle to make money, and it really pisses me off. Top Hat Gaming. See, I've not got any exposure to the guy, but I've heard the stories, and I've seen that he fucking steals fucking footage. I've got my own problems at the moment with one person in fucking particular, and I'm not shy about saying that I've got the issues. Everybody knows who he is. And I'm fucking dealing with it because I deal in the real world, you know what I mean? And there's so many people out there just trying to make their buck and I ain't got no problem with people doing that. as long as you're not disingenuous, be fucking real about who you are. I mean, I'm not criticising you two guys right now because everybody knows who you are, but looking at my screen, like, you're there as Dainster, that's your name. You're there as Ant, that's your fucking name. I'm there, Craig Turner, that's my name. I don't run by any kind of fucking alias. The only aliases I use are Tournicades, which is my fucking business, and the other one, which is going under the Revival banner, and that's what everyone knows me for. And I just like to be real and enjoy my fucking hobby. And there's a lot of these YouTubers I might have watched at one point early on, but it just weren't my cup of tea. And I thought, well, these people are more interested in their own personalities and seeking a bit of fame than they are in the actual game. So I stopped watching them. It's as simple as that. It's not for everybody. But I'm also aware there's some out there who are genuinely milking the teat of basement dwellers and fucking sad incels, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know you were talking about one the other day, weren't you, on here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only reason my name's Dainster is because I created my YouTube account like when Hulk Hogan was making his fucking return in wrestling. Instead of Hulkster, I had Dainster, and I've just stuck with that. But I like to think the person who you see on the camera is 100% the same dickhead you'll see if you come to any event. I ain't putting on no act.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't pretending to be anyone who I'm not. I don't fucking have any airs or graces. And, you know, you take me to see me. Whereas I think these people who try and put themselves on as a character either be rather a shit personality and they need to create one, or B, they've got something to fucking hide, you know.
Exactly, they're scared to show the real selves, aren't they? Because the real selves are shit and nobody wants to see them.
Yeah.
These people who think a hat is a substitute for a personality.
Yeah, well, there's a few of them in there, like with cat ears and shit like that, you know, who fucking...
Yeah. Mention no names, we all know who we're talking about.
Yeah. But, you know, when you dig into it, they're not really that into the hobby. They just... I've said it with a few others. If thimble collecting became the next coolest trend in the UK, they'd all be starting fucking thimble channels.
Exactly.
Well,
it's just a vessel for them to fucking doubt themselves with.
You got to vent about these things because you know there's some of them out there who they're probably doing more harm than good, because as much as they protest that they're not about that, it's like anybody with half a fucking brain can see. And what ends up happening is they end up getting followers who don't really give a shit about an hobby, and they're fly by night. So what they'll end up doing is they'll be like, "Oh, look, we're into this hobby. Let's get involved in it." And they water it down and make it a bit shitter. It's like I was talking about this with Az the other day, as it happens. I was talking about this with Az the other day, and I was saying it's like think about music, yeah. Right, when it comes to music, like I used to be into a lot of kind of underground dance music and stuff like that. You think about like the early rave stuff and things like that, right? When it was like that, it was wicked and it was really fucking popular. The second you get a few shitty, you know, catchy chart releases that can play on Radio 1, it makes the whole genre of music shit. And I think about some of these fucking YouTubers and disingenuous collectors and Twitter personalities is exactly the same. That once they come along and start saying, yeah, we love retro, I'll look at it and I think there's a lot of people out there who look at it and say, oh, I don't really fucking care about this anymore if they ain't fucking involved, you know. Oh, we've lost fucking Dana.
Host a sec there. Sorry, I'm not.
What's he doing?
My magic mouse. But what I don't want is see, the trouble is because these bigger YouTubers are more successful and more exposed than us, is there's people out there who think they represent the true gaming community and they fucking don't, man. Like, you know, I'm a nobody. Like, I'm quite active. I do a lot in the game community. I'm a lot of events. I trade. I do a bit of YouTube. I do a bit of reselling. But, you know, I'm just a normal bloke. You can come up and have a beer with me at the bar. I'm much happy about that. Whereas you see some of these who really fucking believe there's someone swanning and waltzing around. And I just think it doesn't look good on the community. It doesn't look good on YouTubers in general because there's a lot of us who are not fucking like that.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, mate, and that's the thing. See, it's like when it came to the events and considering those things over the years, a lot of people have said to me, "Why don't you get X YouTuber here, and why don't you get that media person here?" And I'm like, well, the thing is, I don't really see how they fit in to the hobby. I don't see how they fit in to what we do. You know what I mean? I don't think as much. It's like as Daphne said, it's things like the cosplay, right? There's some pervy fuckers out there who love the cosplay because if they go to a convention, they've got to get the cheap thrills by walking around with the camera in one hand and the fucking hand in their other pocket. Do you know what I mean?
If Chris Newton was here now, he'd be writing pocket wank in the corner in the comment.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And the thing is, it's like when we started Revival, we had a choice to make, and we said, do we endorse cosplay or don't we? And because it was a pure retro event, lost Ant now.
We lost Ant.
Because it was a pure retro event. Yeah. Because it was a pure retro event, it was like, well, I don't think it's like, we ain't going to turn it away, but it's like, I don't think people really want it or miss it, you know what I mean? So there's no point taking up floor space for it if it's not bringing in either more ticket sales or it's not of interest to people who are here. It's just not worth it. Do you know what I mean? I could have that space for a trader that everybody gives a shit about, or I could have that space for a wicked exhibit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I was just going to say, you know, I'd rather have people like your Dave Perrys or your John Romero's who you've had there, or the Oliver Twins, people who've actually been involved and done something in gaming, than someone who's just set up a fucking channel and talked about it. You know.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's like there's a place for everything, right? And I mean, I'm trying to be diplomatic because I'm an event organizer.
No, I understand now. I'm not trying to get you to expose anything.
No. I ain't trying to get all too serious about it, but there's a bit of stuff going on about all this recently, as some people might have seen through my Facebook or other places. There's been some complications that we've had where people were turned against us, thinking we were very anti that. We weren't. It's just that we never invited the big YouTubers to come because we want them to come, but I know a lot of them, their first and foremost thought is YouTube is their job. So if they come, they want to be paid or get some kind of kickback, you know what I mean? And that it doesn't fit into our business model, so we're not going to do that. We don't aim at the general public when it comes to ticket sales. So who are we getting them there for? There's no point of spending money on doing that when the people who generally come to our events, some of them probably like what they do, but they don't give enough of a shit for it to make a difference to ticket sales and have us justify spending a few £100 comping a bunch of hotel rooms and sorting travel outs like we do for our major guests when, you know, those people aren't really bringing anything to the table. And like I say, I mean, I've made peace with a few of them because there was a bit of a misunderstanding that gone on because of one twat in particular. But I've made peace with a few of them. And they're not bad people in themselves, but I've said, listen, I do want you to come to Revival. I want you to come and see what the real fucking gaming community do. Because I think the problem with some of them, they're so disconnected with the real gamers. They might be real gamers, but they've forgotten what it's all about because they're living in this kind of YouTube bubble. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, let's give them a chance. And I've said to a few of them, come to a Revival, come to one of the smaller ones, prove to people that you give a shit about the hobby, and then we'll talk about having you come back and do something. If one of them wanted to come to our event and say, do a live version of one of their documentaries or something like that, that'd be awesome because that's a presentation. That's something people can fucking connect with. If they wanted to come along and say, we'll host some things up on stage, you know, we'll look over a few of your competitions for you, that'd be brilliant because people kind of recognise them and it lends a bit of credibility to them. But if all they want to do is come along and say, right, we'll come up if you give me my travel money, my hotel money, and some kind of fucking fee, I'm not interested. And I've been very clear about that. I've spoken to a few of them in person now. And again, I'm not going to name the names, but I've said, listen, if you come on a level ground, you're perfectly welcome. If you come with your hand out, you can fuck off. It's as simple as that.
Well, I'm not being funny, but if you was a gamer you'd want to be there anyway, whether you were being paid or not. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like you guys, you do all this, yeah, and you buy and sell your things to make your money. You do your things outside of the events. You do your YouTube because you fucking want to, and you probably a lot of you are more prolific. People don't think I do, but like other event organisers don't do it, but I do fucking check in on a lot of your channels and I watch what you do because you talk about shit you care about. And yeah, sometimes there's a lot of in-jokes between yourselves on little nights out and stuff you've had, which it alienates people a little bit. But I love to hear it because it's people being real, doing their own thing, you know what I mean? And I fucking love that. And that's what Revival's all about, see? And that's why these famous YouTubers, I said, they want to come and be part of that. They can then go off and do their YouTube channels and do all that as well and be paid to go to certain things. But I'm not going to pay them to come and have them doing some kind of fucking thing up on stage talking about something that's not even relevant to the fucking hobby or not relevant to the demographic. You play to your audience at the end of the day. It's like I've resisted over the years the temptation to stick things like gaming for kids or modern gaming to Revival because that's not what we're about. It'll bring more people in, but I don't give a shit, to be quite honest, because that's not what I want. It'd turn away my regulars, and I don't want to do that.
You've got a niche and you need to stick to that. But I think now you saying that, you've opened the door to say, look, if you want to come, you're not going to be paid, but if you want to attend the event, come and attend. That'll now judge their characters over the next couple of events, whether they turn up. Because if you're a true gamer, you want to be at Revival, you want to be in amongst that environment. But if you just want to be paid, then you're probably not going to fucking be there, sort of thing.
Exactly, and that's the thing. See, it's like I said, a lot of these, even the ones who've kind of done people wrong, maybe some of the names you've mentioned there, if they came along and came to Revival and sat and had a fucking beer with people and talked real fucking gaming, you'd probably have a lot more fucking respect for them, and so would I, you know.
I think they can't do that though, because I literally think, like, you've come into my live stream tonight, and all I said to you, I said, look, I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Everything else we'll take on the fly. Everything they do is purely scripted, purely clean cut. So, you know, they're not throwing any of themselves into there. You know, you know, they'll talk about a game, but they're not like me. Like, I'll have a nostalgia for a certain game, and I'll have a little bit of passion, and I'll have my own impression on that game. Whereas they're just fucking sat there like a news reporter telling me everything about the game. So, so I wonder whether they care about games, or are they just fucking churning out stuff?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, eh? That's what everybody's wondering, and like some people won't give them another chance. I've said you've got your chance with us, and at the end of the day, they can no longer argue that like my reputation is pretty good and that of Revival is that's where the genuine gamers go. And I'm like, listen, if you really want to pull some fucking sway after what's gone on in recent months, you do good to fucking come to some of these places and meet the real people who are affected by some of the fallout of the things that you do, you know. And some of them were supposed to come to Revival in March and already made their excuses. Some of them have said they're going to come in November. Okay, the world's a bit strange right now, but maybe they'll turn up in November. I don't know. If they do, fair play to them because they're making the effort. But then, obviously, you'll see then and there if they mix well or if they don't. Because the thing is, right, the world of gaming, we're in this weird world now where everything has to be a fucking safe space and something that's inclusive for all. And in that, they make it non-inclusive because they've got their little safe space. They think gaming is what they say it is because it makes them money. It's not. You come to one of our events, every corner you turn, there's banter with people poking fun at each other, like blokes do regular, right? You've got Spectrum and Commodore guys arguing in a corner. You've got Sega and Nintendo boys arguing in another corner. There's always going to be that back and forth, and it's that variety that makes you genuinely interested. And if you can have a conversation about it, and if they can't, if they do come to an event and they can't do that, it shows that they're not interested in the hobby. They're interested in what they're interested in and trying to tell everybody in the rest of the world that their vision of what this hobby is what the hobby is. And if dickheads buy that, then they can carry on and go to other events. If they don't buy that and say, listen, think you're full of shit, go back to the events and fucking reassess your situation, then we'll accept them in, we'll fucking help them be part of it, and then maybe we can form a better fucking scene from it. You know what I mean? That's been my argument all along about people who boycott certain events. It's like, I mean, like I say, I have problems with certain other events. I don't like flyby nights who are all trying to have a go this year. I've had people come to me saying, can we work with you on an event? And then the bastards stab you in the back, and a few weeks later, they're announcing an event on your doorstep, and you're like, the fuck are you doing? Like, you just don't do that. But like, it's like, well, you try it, you see how fucking difficult it is, and then you come back and have a word, and be prepared for me to tell you to piss right off. You know what I mean?
I know Steve Smith had someone similar doing that up in Barnsley a few years ago that wasn't a success, if you remember, Ant, when we went to Barnsley.
Oh, my God.
Good to have you back, man, by the way.
Yeah, my Mac decided to throw a wobbly then.
Oh, you got to tell me more about that. I ain't heard that one.
Oh no, Barnsley was bad. Barnsley was bad.
It was
one of the worst events I've
How
done.
many did we actually get through the door that day, you reckon? 20, 30 people?
I don't know. There's probably more in my house in lockdown than the fucking is in that event.
Ridiculous.
What was it called?
Was it the South Yorkshire Gaming Fair or something?
Something like that, yeah. The bloke hadn't
Geeks Gamers
publicised at all, had he? He hadn't even put posters up outside to tell people how to get in or anything, had he? That's just a nightmare.
No. Anyway, we're on the 2-hour mark, which means it's closing up time. So, Ant, I'm glad you made it back for that. Ant, have you got a message for everyone watching? Any warnings about COVID fucking 19 and
stay in, save the NHS?
What's the future for you in general then, Ant? Is Retro Gear going to be going all full force?
I'm going to be going to the wall, I think, mate.
Yeah.
Retro Gear is going to the wall.
You'll be fine, I'm sure you will, mate. You always come out smelling the roses. Erica will look after you anyway. And Craig, it's been great having you on as well, mate. Have you got anything for the mass public watching?
Nah, man, just fucking look after yourselves, man. Just use this time, man. You're more gamers. If you can't do a lot of buying and selling, just stay indoors and fucking game. You can't do nothing about the situation. And yeah, money's going to be tight for everybody, so just don't fucking sweat it, man. And I know event season's going to be wank, but fingers crossed, even if this bullshit 6 months thing does pan out, Revival will be at the 7-month mark, and we're only a small event, so I can literally host that at the drop of a hat. So if we get the all clear sometime in September or October, I'll put fucking Revival on for sure. You know what I mean?
So you heard it here. Revival will go ahead, barring what. I'm just going to drop you guys out while I finish up, and then I'll chat you with a sec.
See you,
guys. Thank you for being on. So, guys, we had a couple of different people on tonight. People who have been involved in the gaming scene for a very long time. Lucky to have Craig Turner on, who's an event organizer. As you can see, they're both coping well with what's going on. You heard it here. Craig Turner will get Revival on, even if it's at a drop of a hat. So we've got something to look forward to the end of the year. As you can see, scrolling across the bottom, I have got 2 guests already for tomorrow. But anyone who's looking to come on, who wants to hang out, just drop me a message. The details will be in the description. And thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope we've all learned a little bit. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, and also, I do a Championship Manager hour and a half stream every day from 12 o'clock. Just a little bit of football. There's about 9 of us usually come in, have a watch, have a laugh. And hopefully see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, guys. Ta-ra.